Hi everyone, I'm here to record an extension to what the machine, the HUR, are able to do and designed to do by the company. Anybody that comes to the weight room has to go through introduction by the volunteer that shows you how to do the machines in the way that they were designed. This is not what I'm going to do in this video. In this video, I would like to talk a little bit about my experience with the machines and the way that I use them. I have communicated with the company and they gave me the okay. I sent them another video showing them how I do, what I do and how I do it. And here I will expand a little bit. Once a month I have a live class. And this will be either a reminder or instead of. So, my name is Noah, Spector-Flock. Just a few sentences about my working years. I taught at USF in Tampa in the dance department, and I spent about 16 years in the dance department in Gibbs High School, which is a program that prepared students to become dancers. So my focus there was to allow the dancers to be able to dance and move, whichever body type they come in, how to work with their own bodies so they don't incur injuries, or if they did have injuries, to be more aware of how they got them and how to prevent it for the future and get well while they are recovering. While I was working, I wrote 2 books which had to do with what's called eccentric contraction. It's while you are working the muscle and bringing more tonus to it, you're actually lengthening it, because the dancer needs to be strong but very, very long, not like a bodybuilder that can have shorter muscle. With that in mind, and with that experience, and being creative is just a gift, I think. As in my retirement, I was introduced to the HUR machines, which are the way that they work is by air pressure rather than weight and adjustment of the weight. I found it to be very easy on my muscles. Even if I increase weight, I don't get sore. And I started looking into it deeper, and because it got my interest. And I started slow with like half an hour, twice a week, and then I kind of, as it felt really nice and good, I kept on increasing it and experimenting with it. So this video will show you what I do on top of what is the basic design for the machine. This machine is designed to work on the front, the abdominals, and the back, the extensors of the back. What I do after I adjust the chair to come forward and I put the weight up, I actually sit on my side so I can work the intercostalis. So the muscles in the ribs are going, they're very short muscle that goes in between each rib, and I found that this way I can work on those muscles. So I put the weight up and I can put my arms either behind my back, and I open my elbows so I have the full range of my ribs, and I start by lifting the ribs and trying to work on every single part. And as I go again and again, and I do it 12 times, I slowly rotate and go a little bit further back towards the back. This way I'm sure to get as much as I can. If I feel nice and warm and I want a little bit more challenge, I put my arms overhead, and then I have even a longer lever to work on these muscles. Sometimes I wait here and then I inhale, and on exhale, I will bring myself back until I get all the way back and I'm with rotation. So those are the possibilities that I do in this way. Then I change my direction. And because of the design of the machine, this is a little bit different. So I usually put one leg a little bit like on the edge of the machine. And I go. And those upper ribs are, the muscles there are barely ever being worked on. And I try not to skip this machine. And then I also do with full arms. And I stay, and I open, and I breathe, and I come up on exhale. And I do 12 repetitions on each machine. This machine is the push up and pull down. And I would like to talk about the sitting situation. You can either sit with your body, with the spine erect, so it's a 90-degree to the thighs, or you can be leaning into the back of the machine. I usually use my thumb together with my fingers, and I don't wrap around. The reason is when I use all of them, I also use these muscles in the same way that I use the rest of them. When I'm shortened, I go into my habitual thing as humans, and I find that kind of training the muscles to be in the full length, I gain a little bit more. So it's not super important, but it's just something that I thought I would mention. Sorry. So I put all fingers around, and when I push this way, I work on different set of muscle that if I would be sitting straight, lowering my hands a little bit, and getting more into the back muscles and into the latissimus dorsi. And the same thing when the pull down. The other way that I use the machine is I stand in front of the machine and I'm going to pull down. It really is important to think about the tailbone taking you directly down into the floor rather than back. Otherwise, you may take the machine with you and the machine will fall and you would fall. So, I get into the holding the machine, and as you can see my length, I need to lift up my heels to be able to reach. I inhale and I exhale and I go as long as my strength allows it and I feel comfortable, and my tailbone goes down directly into the floor, and I can go into full squat, but half a squat is just fine. You don't want to put too much weight on the knees, and that's why the alignment is so important. When I come back, I allow my spine to drop forward, so my shoulder blades, my scapulas are covering my spine, and then I inhale, and I exhale, and I go down. I allow my eyes to go down, I allow my chin to go down, so my back is lengthened and rounded, and then when I come up, I extend, and the shoulder blades are covering, going towards the spine. Okay. So I inhale, and on exhale, the heels goes down, the tailbone goes down, the eye goes down, the chin goes down, until it's either the end of the range of my motion, and then I come back up and I allow my spine to extend forward, 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 and the shoulder blades coming in towards the spine. Nowadays, the machines are newer. This is an old style of the machines. They still work very well, but with the design that they are right now, they fit a bigger human beings than I am. So with my height and relationship of length of torso to legs, if I sit all the way back, the way that the machine is designed, the end of the padding hits the end of my adductors muscles, and it creates discomfort. So that's not a good idea. So to find the correct alignment for me, I need to move all the way forward, so my knee is in between those pads, and then I'm sitting erect, and I use one leg at a time. Now, most of us have difference between one leg to the other, one hip and the other. So I find it very useful to me to pay specific attention to my right leg with its issues, so I can concentrate on it, and my left leg that works differently. So with that, I invite you to find your own way to work with your own body, and maybe do more in one leg than the other, or however fits you. And I'm always available for, if you have questions and you want to consult. This machine is the twist, and I do it every single time. I actually like to use it as a warm-up, if there is availability, depending on how many people are using the room. So, the one thing I can add to the normal way of working with it is that there is a difference whether your elbow is down at the bottom or if your elbow is up at the top. So again, we're working with the muscles in between each rib, and the higher you get, the more you use the muscle that we usually don't use. So, if we were climbing on trees and doing things, we would, but the importance of using those muscles is to allow actually movement of the ribs, so that it's like a basket rather than a cage. So I like to change the word from rib cage to a basket, or to an umbrella that opens and closes. So when you breathe and when you move, there is actually a small movement in the ribs. So to do this exercise, which says twist means rotation. And every single vertebra in our spine can rotate, meaning 7 in the neck, 12 in the thorax, 5 in the lumbar, and then the tailbone. I'm going to inhale, and I'm going to start by pressing my right hip back. And after I press my right hip back, I'm going to start pushing with my elbow back, and I'm going to turn my head, my eyes, all the way back. I'm going to hold it for 1 second, and I'm going to come back slowly as my eyes come back and my spine come back. This way, the whole torso, the core, I'm sure you've heard how important it is to work the core. Working the core is not doing this, it's actually working with much deeper and smaller muscles that are close to the spine and the core of the body. So, pelvis first, and then the rest, and the higher the elbow, the more muscles you're going to be activating. Another way that I work with this machine is in standing. I go to the side. I usually put a little bit more weight. I put my hand on the pad, and I'm going to push forward using my muscles in the around the ribs and the front, the pectoralis. But will be bending my front knee. So I inhale, I exhale, and I press forward. When I come back, I'm gonna be lifting my elbow up. So all the muscles underneath my arm are engaged. Again, I'm pressing forward, and I don't just come back like this. I will turn my elbow and work on the arm muscles at the same time. Once I've done 12 of these, I will bring my hand forward, and I will start bending my back leg, and I'm going to press forward on exhale and come back. Inhale, and I just felt that I need to adjust and move a little bit further back, so I actually have full range as I exhale. And when I come, notice that my elbow is as high as I can without lifting my shoulder, which is a little bit of a training, keeping the shoulder down while you're working with the arms. So just to show it on dry, the elbow goes up, but the shoulder doesn't go up. So that's something that you have to kind of try and find, because this creates a lot of tension, as we all know. So here is another machine that the construction of the machine, of the seat, is in one size where, the people that are using it are in different sizes and length. When this is a leg extension, so you're working the front of the thigh and the back of the thigh, but those muscles are attached to the hip. So again, you can either do it with your back leaning onto the back of the chair. I cannot go all the way back, because if I go all the way back, I don't have the support that I need on my knees and on my ankles. Or you can do it sitting erect, and I always do it in an exhale. The one thing that I would like to point, that you can work with the angle that the foot and the leg is aligned. Alignment is super important if you want to work in a way that will support the way that the body is designed. So we have muscles in the front and in the back, and they're working as agonist and antagonist. When one contracts, the other one has to let go. As we grow up and as we use our body and as we age, we tend to favorite one side or favorite one group of muscles, or we have injury. As you're working on the machine and you're trying to actually get into wellness, it's really super important to work on alignment. So the kneecap is my guide, and I would look at my foot and I would try to align my second and third toe with my knee as I lift. I will hold for 1 second and I will slowly lower down. I'll do it with the other leg. So my kneecap is the center, and I'm going to watch the alignment between my second and third toe. I will hold it there for a little bit, and then I will slowly lower down. The same thing happens with the way down. And you can see it here even more because you have the feet. I flex my feet so I get full length. So now I will press down, keeping my foot aligned with my knee rather than doing this or doing that or flopping. So I'm aligning so all the muscles are working as equally as I possibly can. This machine has a wonderful adjustment. You can bring this seat all the way back. And I love this machine, especially for women that have, or even men, but women especially, that have osteoporosis, I find that this machine can actually really work on pressing and strengthening the hip joint and the lower lumbar, as my attention goes backwards, not just forward. So I bring my legs up and I start with the legs parallel. And I'm going to press forward as I'm exhaling, and I'm pushing my belly button in towards my spine. So I'm going to inhale, and I'm going to exhale, and I'm going to press back, and I'm going to bend. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to inhale, and I press back to get everything here as tight as I can to get the bones stronger. Once I do this 12 times, I also do one leg at a time. And when I do one leg at a time, I try to pay attention that my pelvis is moving, that it's not just the leg, but I'm actually moving my pelvis. Okay? And then I have my legs straight, and now I'm going to work only with my pelvis. So as small movement it is, I'm starting to get rotation, while I'm actually, sometimes I even get it stronger, so I have a really strong resistance. So I can strengthen this whole section of my lower spine to stay away from osteoporosis, get the bone stronger. When I feel like, after I've done 12 of those, I will bend my knees. With my knees bent, I will work on the whole leg to rotate out and to rotate in. And hopefully you can see that my feet are actually everting and inverting. So I'm moving the weight onto the outside of my feet and into the inside of my feet as I'm working the whole length of my legs. After I've done those for 12 times, I press again to full length, and I lift my heels, and I lift my toes, and I lift my heels, and I lift my toes, and I lift my heels, and I lift my toes. If I feel, if this is a day that I work on my lower body, I can also turn my leg into Charlie Chaplin position, so I'm working more of the inner muscles, and I can work this way to work on another set of muscles. So this way I can get a little bit more, rather than just front and back, but I can get also to a little bit into the abductor and adductors, which I don't get so much in the other machine because of the size of the machine. This machine, again, my hands, I'm pushing with the pillow rather than gripping. And I'm going to press, and I'm going to widen my back so my elbows are out. I'm going to exhale, I'm sitting erect as you can see, and I'm going to press down, and I'm going to stay down and engage the muscles of my back as I'm down. And then slowly I'll come back up, and as you can see, I'm widening again the back and the arms. Another way to do it is the way that the machine was designed, and it is to press here and that gives you a little bit less group of muscles involved, but you know, it's fine. The other way, I like to break it down into 2 sections. So I grip with my thumb, including with my 4 fingers. I would lift without the shoulders, and then I'm going to pull the elbows and back down, and I'll stay down and allow the shoulder blades to be pulled down, so I get a lot of tension pulling, lengthening there. And then I will bring up the shoulder blades and then the elbow, and then down to more than full length, like a stretch to the second trapezius. And then again, the shoulder blades, which is a muscle called levator scapula that's being lifted, and then the elbows, and then the elbows go straight and the shoulders go down, and I give it a nice stretch. This one I don't do here at all, but your choice. Okay, this is a machine that works on smaller group of muscles, and again you can either lift it with the hand looking this way, doesn't matter if it's fisted or not, but I'm showing the alignment of the thumb, or you can do it with palm up, exhaling and lifting, and you can do it with palm down, exhale and lifting. So again, you're working muscles, you know, a little bit more round. When you do it the other way around, pushing down, same idea, either this way or palms up or palms down. There's not much to invent on this machine. I want to thank you for watching, and hopefully that gives you a little wider understanding of you or interest in the machines, and enjoy your workout. The last 2 machines that I'm going to show you are not in HUR machines. I use them usually as a warm-up. This one is a full body machine. So as you're pulling your arms back, notice that my elbows are lifted, just like in the machines. At the same time, I'm going to extend my legs to full length. So the machine goes like that. This is the way that the machine is designed. You have the amount of the resistance that you can adjust, so the water is circling. Something to really pay attention to is that the knees are right over the second and third toe. So if you see that one knee is turning, then make sure that you are aligning it. There are many ways to work with this machine. This is the basic. As I get warmed up, I also take it up and over, up and over, up and over. Sometimes my tendency is that the right side of my back gets stronger, so I can maybe press more with my left and make sure that I work with my left a little bit more than with my right. So I can do maybe like 5 in my left and 1 with my right. So now I'm also doing a rotation. Another way is when, and again, this is when I'm already warmed up, is for me to either work only with the arms, keeping my legs straight, and I go into full extension in full flexion. Or I can hold my arm and just work with my legs, and my arms are working, staying in the same position. So it's isometric. It's the same metric on the arms, but my legs are working. Another way that I sometimes use it is like that I'm going to turn my legs a little bit, and I'm going to work on my inner thigh. So that's for that machine. So this machine is pressing down, and the important thing here is which group of muscle you put more intention towards. So if I just push down with the front of my foot, I would work my thighs, but if I press with my heels, I would start working on the back side of my body. So try going forward and try going back. And you're going to feel the difference in the way that you're working the muscle. Thanks for joining me.